Should have kept my sunglasses on. I didn't realize how bright it would be. So thank you all for coming and supporting us today. Some of you may recognize me here in Harrisburg as I'm a district office director in one of the district offices in Delaware County. I also serve as an elected official myself as mayor of Morton in Delaware County. I'm the mother of two amazing children, one serving as a firefighter in our Morton Rutledge Fire Company. The other, who is in middle school, is busy trying to figure out time and space travel. I'm pretty sure it's just to avoid school. I'm also the spouse of an Air Force veteran who I know would be here today in support. I make mention of these things because I'm not what you would think as a face of suicide, but I am. As a two-time attempt survivor, I'm one of many faces of suicide, but I'm not what you would think or others would think or characterize as such. If my spouse was standing next to me today wearing his veteran hat, and I asked this crowd which one of us you would think was an attempt survivor, what do you think the response would have been? Truth is, we don't know what the faces of suicide look like. We couldn't recognize attempt survivors, lost survivors, those having thoughts, in a room much like this where we are today. The very real truth is, we're never going to know. That is until we have a lot more conversations. Conversations that include more than just clinicians and the so-called experts. Science is great, but it hasn't quite figured things out yet. And maybe instead of cutting into the brains of someone who has passed, we invest more in the conversations with individuals that are still here. I once asked a room full of stakeholders from every corner of Pennsylvania, from nonprofits to clinicians and agencies, a very simple question. How many of them had an attempt survivor on their board? Not a single hand was raised in that room. I told them that was one of their problems. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely understand how difficult it is to find someone willing to speak about something so personal. I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that I am not at ease at this podium. For the past few years, I've spoken in public. The reactions have been a learning curve, but I know my purpose is greater than some of the difficult receptions. You see, I've been met with audible gasps, followed by awkward, confused silence, and there has even been the occasional time where someone has physically recoiled as if it was something to catch. I've also been in spaces where the person sitting next to me didn't have their person still with them. Those moments have been both heart-wrenching and healing all at the same time. These are why things like language matters, why ending the stigma is so important, why we have to talk about all the parts of suicide, the whys, the hows, what is working and what isn't, how we capture data. If that's talking to more survivors or something as simple as getting 67 county coroner reports to be the same. I sat on a panel earlier this year, and one of the questions that has stuck with me was from a mother who made mention that her daughter asked where she was going that day. The mother said she felt guilty for not telling her, but she didn't know how. As a mother myself, I told her she knew her child best, and that there were many ways she could make it age appropriate, but that she shouldn't fear having the conversation. Those conversations are incredibly important. Talking about mental health, about suicide, doesn't make it happen. I didn't attempt to take my own life because I saw it on TV, or read about it somewhere, or someone had a conversation about it. In my case, there were years of abuse, of trauma kept silent. I felt like I was at the bottom of a well looking up at the sunlight, having no ability to crawl out. What I thought were clear signs of pleading for help weren't, or better yet, no one knew what to look for, or that asking would make a difference. Like many, I was taught not to speak up and out. Silence is one of the most painful human experiences a human can experience. Trauma and silence are a deadly combination. I didn't want to die, I just wanted the pain to stop. I tell people all the time, if someone would have reached out, if someone would have asked, had a conversation with me, my life would have been very different. So if I could give all of you listening one piece of advice, don't wait. Don't think someone else is going to ask, or that it's offensive or intrusive. have the conversation. It's not going to be easy. It is going to be messy, but it will save a life. Our phones are in our hands, quite literally, or in our pockets, as most of us have them. Every moment of the day, call, text, and check in on your neighbors, your family, your friends. You never know who's watching and listening and is in need. It could save a life. Thank you.